Hi, welcome to Beyond Politics. I'm Catherine Clark. If you want to get to know the people of Bonavista-Gander-Grand Falls-Windsor, well, come spend a day in the riding with their MP, Liberal Scott Sims. Scott is personable, he's funny, he's outgoing, and he seems to know every one of his constituents personally. Scott was also well known to Canadians for the decade that he spent as an anchor on the Weather Network before deciding to come home and run for office. When he ran, he won, and he's won 4 times in the past 7 years. I'm pleased now to present our interview with Scott Sims at home in his riding on Beyond Politics. Hi there. How are you? Thanks. I'm just going to squeeze in front of you. Sorry. Thank you. I'm looking for the MP. Does anyone know where the MP is?
How are you?
Good. How are you?
How are they?
Good to see you. Great. Sure, I'd love to. Uh-oh.
You normally call the gang.
All right.
Now introduce yourself.
Does that mean that you come in every morning and meet here?
Yeah.
Okay, sir. How are you?
You look fine, though. You look fine. You look great.
You're Miss Joe Clark's daughter, right?
That's right. That's me. I am. Yeah, I am. Well, thank you. I'm glad to be back. How are you?
Not bad.
Good. Really nice to meet you. I'm Catherine.
How are you today?
Hi. Hi. Nice to meet you, Mr. Shepherd. Hello, Cliff. Good to meet you, too. Thank you. And how are you?
My name is Gerard.
Hello, Gerard. I'm really glad to be here. How are you?
You're wonderful on television, by the way.
I bet you've never seen the show.
Yes, I have.
Have you? That's because you watched the last one we did with Scott. How are you?
If you look behind you, right here, this is a part of Newfoundland that a lot of people don't get to see. Because the publicity for Newfoundland and Labrador, and for all the right reasons, is that you've got the ocean, we're on the North Atlantic, an island.
Right.
But within Newfoundland, in central Newfoundland, I mean, this is the exploits. This is the largest river in the province, and it's very beautiful scenery. You've picked a perfect day to look at the river. It's like glass.
It is like glass.
And there are a lot of, this is why a lot of Newfoundlanders have this affection for Northern Ontario, because it's a lot like Northern Ontario in that sense, and it's in the middle of an island.
Yeah.
So.
And even the rocks. I mean, there's a reason why Newfoundland is called the Rock.
Affectionately.
There are a lot of rocks here.
Well, that's
and it's
true.
a very rocky landscape. And you're right, it is a lot like Northern Ontario. But you know what's just been so incredible for us traveling through here the past week is just the variation in landscape and how we've been up through Grossmorn, we've been in St. John's, we've driven all the way up to your riding, and it's just there's a lot of trees and a lot of rocks and a lot of water, but it doesn't look the same all over the place, right?
No, it doesn't, and this is the variation that the province offers that is quite exhilarating. I mean, there's the nightlife of St. John's, there's the beautiful scenery of Grossmorn.
Yeah.
Labrador is absolutely stunning. If you like to fish, you like to angle on the river, the Labrador is equally as good as the island, if not better in some cases.
One of the things that struck me was that you've lived in some major Canadian cities. You've lived in
Vancouver, Montreal, Toronto,
Ottawa now.
Kind of.
But you come back here, and this is not in any way, by any stretch of anyone's imagination, a big city.
No, and the riding is basically that way. I have 195 towns in my riding, and the largest town is 13,000 people.
Wow.
So this is as rural as it gets. And when it comes to rural Canada and rural Newfoundland and Labrador, I mean, there's no magic formula as to its success. It's just basically human spirit and communities, which is what makes Newfoundlanders, I think, unique. I remember last year I was in an airport, and I met this gentleman from Chicago, and he had spent 2 weeks in Newfoundland. And he said, you know, he was really taken back about how friendly Newfoundlanders are. And I looked at him and I said, can I ask you a question? I said, you know, I go to places around the world. Like, I go to places all across Canada. I meet friendly people everywhere. I mean, we're all friendly, you know, to that extent. I said, what makes Newfoundland and Labrador so different? What makes a Newfoundlander different, kind of friendly? And he thought about it and he thought about it and he said, you know why? He said, what makes you different? He said, because you talk to us like you've known us for years. It's like talking to someone that I hadn't seen in a while, but yet you've known me. And I've just met them.
Right.
And I said, yeah, you know what, that makes sense. That pretty much says who we are. It's because of that sense of community that we treat each other that way. I mean, I know when, you know, friends of mine I say to them, I say, do you miss home? And they say, yeah, I miss home. And they say, well, you know, what do you think about when you think of home? They said, well, I think of the house and I think of the yard and I think of, you know, your own home. And they said, what do you think about, Scott, when you think of home? And I said, to me, going home is that sign that says, welcome to Bishop's Falls. Hey, I'm home now, you know. It's not just my home, it's all these homes along here.
But you know, you're coming home to Bishop's Falls, and yet you're also coming home as an MP, and you're having to visit all of those other little towns. And you've got a big riding.
Yeah.
How big is your riding?
Well, it's there are about 84,000 people.
Yeah.
30-odd thousand square kilometers. Like it's not one of the biggest in the country, but because all the little towns are spaced apart. Like for instance, last week I had an event to go to. The event lasted about 45 minutes. Yeah. In Port Union. But
it took you 4 hours to get there.
It took me 3 hours to get there and 3 hours back. So it's you know, when people call you and say, okay, we need you to come to an event, don't worry, it's only 45 minutes. It's 45 minutes there, but the whole day took about 8 hours.
Yeah.
So, you know. So, but, you know, to be honest with you, if there's, to an extent, I admire urban ridings because you can do that. You can go home at night. Sometimes I have to stay in a hotel, even in my own riding.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't trade it in for the world. Summertime, I do a lot of dunk tanks. For some reason, they keep telling me that whenever I get in a dunk tank, they raise more money.
Sure they do.
Oh, yeah,
who wouldn't relish the opportunity to dunk the local
Well,
MP?
exactly. I mean, but it's a good... Politics is a blood sport here. It's, you know, everybody talks about it, and it's like... you know, talking about the election is like talking about the game last night between the Leafs and the Canadiens.
Yeah, we've really noticed that.
Yeah.
We've really noticed how people, I mean, within about 30 seconds in a conversation, politics comes up. And is that just, well, you tell me why that is, because, I mean, that's unusual in terms of the country.
Yeah, it is. It's a good question. The way we are is that, you know, it became conversation in the community because the community bands together. So as the community bands together, you know, you go to the wharf and you spend a day talking about whatever's on the go, that sort of thing, and you talk about daily events. And, you know, I mean, obviously you wouldn't talk about, you know, a lot of the major world events, but you talk about the local politics of everything. And so because politics has taken over the local, I mean, you talk about weather, you talk about hockey, but politics always is well up there on the top as well. And I think that's been going on for years, and it continues. You know, we have a radio program that runs it 3 times a day, and it's pan-provincial. It's the only pan-provincial talk show that I know of. It's called Open Line, and everybody listens to that. It's you know, you can make or break your career in politics just by being on these particular shows. But it is that way.
Sure.
And, you know, people get into the seriousness of policy, yes, but they also get into the intrigue, and it's these small little dramas that play themselves out, and you become a player in that drama, and then, you know, you get caught up in it. But it is, this is, in Newfoundland and Labrador, being in politics, if you're an MP or an MHA, as we call them, Members of the House of Assembly, I told someone it's not a job, it's a life. You know, it is a life, and you really have to, in this province, like friends of mine, like I had a friend who was an MP in Toronto, and, you know, he goes out shopping or whatever, and he does his thing, and that's fine, and a few people might say hi to him. I mean, I go to Walmart here, and I can stand in the doorway and have a conversation for 3 hours. Actually, every year, one of the things I do
If
is...
you go to Walmart and stand in the doorway for 3 hours.
That's right, and you know, and then the greeters get mad because I'm taking their job. But it's great. It's good politics. It's the way to do it. It's a conversation, and every Christmas I volunteer, and you should do this. It's so much fun. You know, when you go to the store at Christmas, you
Does it involve wearing a plastic poncho and crackers?
No one will spit in your ear, I swear. But at least I don't think. So you go Christmas and the Salvation Army kettle.
Yeah.
Volunteer at 2 or 3 hours on a kettle for the Salvation Army, and it's the best time at Christmas you'll have.
Really?
Yeah, I have a ball doing it. I do. There are like.
But that's because you know everyone in your riding. You know all 84,000 people.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but don't ask me to tell me their names. But yeah, you know quite a few. And I mean, our politics is very local, so they know who I am.
Sure.
And it's great. I mean, I'm not a very tall. You know, I'm not Darth Vader looking by any chance. So I'm only 5'4". So. I become very approachable, I suppose, you know, and I guess maybe that helps.
I suppose.
Yeah.
I suppose.
But politics is, and the other reason too is because politics is so popular here. Is we enjoy it. We just enjoy the drama of it, and it is that, and we have such colorful characters.
Oh my gosh, do you ever?
Oh my goodness. Hey Willie, how are you? This is Catherine.
Hi.
Dan.
I'm Catherine Clark. It's really
Willie
nice to meet you too. Thank you. John and Dan.
You're doing those nice glasses, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you look cool.
Thank God the young fella gave me them. I won't be buying them.
No?
No, not expensive glasses.
No, I don't suppose.
I'm old school. I gets whatever now. Whatever's left around.
That's the thing about having kids. Yeah, exactly.
That's great.
Yeah, you're going to get wood or you got wood or what?
Going over to get it, yeah.
You're going to get it now. That's it, man. Getting cold now.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got to stay warm.
I'm down at Sandy Point now, but.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you know where Cyril Gale is?
Oh,
you know,
yes,
the Newfoundland right there?
Right on.
Yeah, but I see the boys going down for wood all the time.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. I can do something now in the morning. Right? That's what I just done when I came back.
Oh, so you got your license, did you?
Yes, yeah.
All right.
Once every 5 years.
Once every 5 years?
Figures I got one more try at it now before I gives it up, right?
Oh, right. Yeah.
Close to 60 then.
You're not that old. What, you're 55?
I just turned 53, right?
Jeez.
In the
Imagine.
bad spot for the mill. You know what that's all about.
Yeah, he was a former mill worker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
33 years.
So what did you do after that?
Well, I went through the process with the government and done a bit of training, but now I'm in with the labourers union, right? The International Labour Union.
Yep.
So I was out in Come by Chance all summer working.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm going to probably Hebron now before Christmas.
Okay.
So I'm hoping, right?
Hebron's that new big oil development off the East Coast.
Yeah.
See, this is where a lot of our people are going. I was just telling her about, you know, all these new homes we have now, like that size.
Yeah.
A lot of people we know are coming into big money, big salaries, and
Because they're going elsewhere?
well, they're going to Alberta, they're going to Hebron off the coast.
Yeah.
Two friends of mine, I was talking to Tone Budgell the other day. Tone is off to Norway, Africa. I mean, you know, it's funny because about 100 years ago, a lot of people around here went to Labrador during the part of the season, and now here we are going to everywhere, really.
That's right, yeah.
Everywhere. I mean, friends of mine go to Russia quite a bit. What's his name? Who's a fellow that he goes to Russia quite a bit?
I'm not sure.
Jeez.
Right now,
What's his name?
Definitely probably knows him, but
No, it'll come to me in a second. But anyway, they're just all over the place.
How does it affect your family if you have to be gone?
oh, it does affect families, right? And anybody tells you it doesn't, you're screaming, right?
Yeah, they're
You know,
putting on a good brave face.
3 months to summer, and I was working 12 and 2 rotations. So I mean, you had 2 days. I had 300 kilometers to drive each way, and you can't go back in the morning to work that day, right? Because it's 3 hours and it's too long, right?
Yeah.
And you're working 10-hour shifts anyway.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. And anybody that's in Alberta is even worse, right?
Yeah, because
I'm only in the province, and I can drive home, right?
Sure.
They're basically like in 2 days, a day and a half up, day and a half back. It takes its toll because you're around when you're home, and you're around all day with the kids and that sort of thing. But when you're gone, you're gone.
Yeah.
And if something happens, like if there's a school concert or there's an accident, you're halfway around the world. Because I mean, a country this size in Alberta, that's basically where you are, is halfway around the world.
Right.
You take small kids. I mean, my next door neighbor, he'd been working in Alberta now for probably 2.5 years, right? And he said every time he comes home, he sees a difference in the youngsters, right? Because he got, the youngest is probably 12, and the oldest now is 18, right? 17 or 18. And he said every time he comes home, you know, it's different, right?
The kids change, so that becomes, I mean, it's just...
Is it worth it, or is it just what you have to do?
It's what you got to do.
You got to do it.
You know, I was hoping to finish working in the mill, but it never worked out that way, right? I went in at 18, came in at 50. Just in that zone where it was no good to me, right? But that's the way it works. Whatever you got to do, you got to do.
I thought you went in at 18?
18, yeah.
Oh, geez. I thought
you
went in
18 on a Wednesday and went in on a Thursday.
My brother did the same thing.
Yes.
He went in at an early age. Now, he moved to Ontario to work in a new type of mill, which was recycled paper instead of raw wood fiber. You know, for a better future, because he didn't see a future for himself at this mill. The irony is, the mill that he moved to lasted only 1 year longer than the mill that he left.
Isn't that something?
Yeah, so the whole industry took a hit, obviously.
Still a good move for him, though. Just,
oh, it was, yes.
You know, because he moved into a hard job up here, and then and he was stuck where he was too, right?
That's right, because he was on a call-in list, right?
Yes.
And he didn't have the security here, but because there were so many people, and the when my brother came along, the jobs weren't expanding, so. But he moved up there, and he moved into management, so it made it a lot easier. But, you know, you'll find a lot of people around here. I mean, one of the things, when the average age of the mill worker was in, 54?
Yeah.
Something like that? So, you know,
the youngest people in our union, I think the youngest man in our union was 46 when the mill shut down.
Oh, really?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's probably one of the youngest in the mill, too, right?
Yeah. So there weren't many young families that were involved in this, so that made it a lot easier.
On our next generation, we're into our grandchildren, right?
Yeah.
My grandchild now 3 years old. Well, that's, I mean, it's still family, it's just the next progression, right?
Next generation.
Right?
Yeah.
But a lot of training, that's one of the things that the feds and province did, a lot of money in training. A lot of people got trained. My brother's doing it right now. Reg is up doing the driving course in Badger. Yeah. So
10,000 people went through Badger the past 2 years.
Yeah, Badger has a school for truck driving and heavy equipment, and they're pretty popular. Yeah. But they're good. There's a good school.
Yeah. No doubt.
Yeah, and
how many drivers do you need, right?
Yeah.
Now, first when the mill went down, yes, you need a lot of drivers, but now when there's probably 500 people gone through since then, I mean, the jobs are getting filled in too.
Yeah. Sure. So a lot of, and the other thing too is because we have a network, like in Alberta, you can go to Fort McMurray and every third person that you see on the street is from Newfoundland.
That's right.
You know, and the other two are from Saskatchewan or Manitoba.
Sure.
So, you know, it's one of those things where years ago, to make a move like that was big because you were going into the unknown. Right. But now, I mean, your buddies are there.
Sure.
The guys you went to school with are already there. They got a place. So going there and finding a job
totally
is
unfamiliar.
Yeah, it's easy.
Right.
And I know people that go to Fort McMurray, whether to live half their lives there, and they barely speak to anybody who's not from Newfoundland. It's it's one of those things. And you know, there are other places around the world too. Like I said, Russia and now Africa and stuff like that. I mean,
you're taking over the world.
Yeah. Well,
you got to surround yourself with people you know, and that's what happens. My young fellow.
That's exactly it.
Now he's 23 years old, right?
Yeah.
Now he's trying to get back here, and he will now shortly, I hope, right? But that's what he done. Like everybody does the same thing. You surround yourself with people you know. Yeah. Like there's probably 300 people up there from Bishop. You know, we're only a small town, but I mean, people moves away for work.
Yeah, that's right. So there's a story for today. Newfoundlanders traveling in packs and herds.
No lone wolves.
Like schools of fish.
That's right.
Well, and you know what? That's actually true. I mean, for someone who's nervous about going away, it's less nervous.
Absolutely.
Someone asked me. They said, "Do you get meet the guys you grew up with in Bishops? Do you get to see them much?" And I said, "Well, every now and then, the fireman's ball." But I said, on a regular basis, I see them on a Friday night at the airport in Halifax.
Home sweet home?
Home sweet home, yes.
Wow, and you built this, you designed it?
Well, I sort of helped do the design, but, let's face it, other people built it. I mean, I'm pretty useless when it comes to carpentry. But the thing is now, is that in the old days, you get a plan and you go with it, and there's some people would tell you, but I got my plan on the internet. And one day I'd narrow it down to 3, the next day it would be narrowed down to 7. It's just, there's so many opportunities for homes on the internet. It's crazy. So it took me, months to actually narrow it down. And even then I got a basic design and did.
This is lovely. This is the kitchen. I would love to have this kitchen. It's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, show me the rest, too.
Well, as you can see, there's a bit of a theme on the go. It's kind of like
the Boston Bruins thing, you mean?
Oh, yeah, the Boston. Well, this is part of the
lovely
decor.
Decorating.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially when you got Ray Bork's autograph and Terry O'Reilly, Michael Ryder, and stuff like that. But trust me, it was a very uncomfortable place to be when you're a Boston Bruins fan and you're facing the Vancouver Canucks.
Yeah.
I have a lot of colleagues who were not happy with me.
I bet.
But I believe we won.
I'm pretty sure that I remember that, too.
Did. But it was great. It was fun. After waiting so long.
And there are two men in the house?
There are two men, myself and my son Jackson.
Yeah, and I can tell that because you have a lightsaber.
That's right. You see, you can tell when the people who live in the house are only men. And we're like, I say men because we're two boys, really. Because look, the mantelpiece of my fireplace has an exact replica of the Star Wars lightsaber as used by Luke Skywalker. Now, here, the thrill of a lifetime is...
trying to figure out how to turn it on?
You push that button right there. Oh, yeah, what?
I feel powerful.
What? Are you drunk with power? Here you go, just hit my arm.
Wow. Now, I can understand why you have something like this on your mantelpiece. I mean...
Before I retire or leave politics, I'm going to bring this in the house at some point.
You would get kicked out.
I probably would be, but just imagine what CPAC, the ratings. When you get, if some guy actually stands up in the house and says, Mr. Speaker, I have a question to the Prime Minister.
The ratings would soar.
Great. Yeah. I won't call him Darth Vader, but would that be something?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Now, you also have a giant television over here. Do you get much time to watch it?
Yeah, see, this is the other thing about having just guys who live here, myself and my son. There's a 55-inch television. Actually, I do watch quite a bit, but the beauty of satellite television is that you've got all these music channels.
Of course.
And I find it's great background.
Yeah, sure. Now, have you infected your son with your love of horror movies?
Yes, I have.
Have you done?
Well, we both. It's not up yet, but we have one of the original posters from Friday the 13th.
That's so great. This will be such a friendly house for women then, really. Lightsabers.
Dark lightsabers, horror movies.
Horror movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all right.
It's not a very attractive place for a young woman to go, no, I can understand.
And how about your passion for disco music? Is that what you're putting on the music station?
It's funny you mention that. Because in the closet waiting to go up, because this is in a fairly new house, is my disco ball.
Where are you going to put your disco ball?
I don't know yet. It's like, there's upstairs.
Why don't you hang it over your bed?
Yeah, you know what? That's almost too tight. If I put it outside and protect it from the rain, that would be good.
How about over your dining room table?
Oh, my goodness. You know what? That's a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, think of the parties.
Well, the thing is, what's going to happen is if I put the disco ball there over the table, my son will sit there and he'll eat, and halfway through the meal he'll just say, like, Dad, seriously, like, does this have to, like, really? I can't see my food. It's like, it's fun. I like to dance, but I really want to eat.
And know what I'm eating.
Yeah, but actually, I just love to see him struggle with it. Actually, that'd be pretty good. It's like you always seek out a way to embarrass your children. Isn't it? It's a wonderful feeling that you can embarrass your children. And it's so much fun, especially when they're teenagers. And you can constantly make your son go, oh, my God, Dad.
And it must be even worse for your son because you're the MP. So he can't go anywhere with you in the riding where people don't know who you are and therefore who he is.
Yeah, exactly. It's he finds that, especially around Christmas time, he finds it a bit annoying. But he's old enough now when, as soon as we walk into the mall and I start a conversation, he'll just go, Dad, oh, never mind. He'll just go on.
How old is he?
He's 17 now.
He's 17.
Yeah, so he's loving it. He's
He's just recently moved out here, though.
Yes, he did. He lived with his mother for years. He grew up with his mom. And that was in Kingston, Ontario, and now he lives here with me. So he moved from Ontario to Newfoundland.
And he's liking it?
He loves it.
That's great.
It's his home now, and he's out with his friends, and he's in school now, of course. But, he better be in school. But
he's got a GPS on him.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, at some point, I got to show you that I prove that I really do have a disco ball.
Okay.
That's pretty funny.
Okay. Should we go find the disco ball?
You want to go find the disco ball? Okay, let's go look.
One of the things I was wondering, too, was you used to do this. You used to work in television.
I did, yes, for 10 years.
Yeah.
I worked in the Weather Network. I just want to show you this because it's this is a painting, a lady in Hare Bay, and Ms. Collins painted this. Is beautiful because this is a Beothuk native. Beothuks, of course, they're an extinct people, but they lived up and down this river I live on. And I hope that in the future, before I leave politics, we get a way of celebrating what it was they meant to the history of Newfoundland and Labrador, and that's the Beothuk native. So
it's a beautiful painting.
Yeah, it's my favorite painting, so I wanted to put that up as well as anything else. So I got to find my disco ball now. Oh my goodness, where would this be? Thank you.
A light.
Oh,
a light
there we go. There we go. I think I have it.
Oh my God, you really do have a disco ball.
Yeah.
You got a little something on top of it there.
Yeah, that's the little motor that keeps it going.
Okay. Here. Let's move this. And then maybe it'll...
Let's do that.
Because we don't want to break your disco ball.
Yeah, we wouldn't want that.
Oh
my
God,
goodness.
It would just be...
Here we go. Oh, here we go.
Okay.
There we go.
Wow.
Okay, so that's the little engine
Okay.
that keeps it going. I don't know what your light is like here. Just to give you a bit of light. Now look at that, Catherine. Where'd you go? There you are. Now look at that.
It's beautiful.
Isn't that great?
It's not as heavy as I thought.
No,
either.
it's not. A friend of mine gave me that a few years ago. So you put this up, you got the little motor, and you get a spotlight on it, and this is what could be over my dinner table.
I think it would be spectacular.
You have no idea how embarrassed my son would be if he was here now.
This
He'd be like, "Oh my God, Dad, I can't believe you're showing her that."
It's a statement.
Yes,
It's
it's a
Why do you
statement.
love disco balls and disco?
I don't know. It's just one of those things where it's like, it's you want to lose weight, but you can't help yourself with eating potato chips. You know it's bad for you, but they're so good. And disco is that kind of thing. It's that type of music. You laugh, but it's true.
Okay.
It's the type of music that no matter what party you're at, you play heavy metal, you play other types of music, and some people dance, some people don't. And I think I mentioned this on your show a while ago. But when you play disco, everybody dances.
This is true.
It's true. It's also very
true.
good. Yeah.
So
it's rock and
as
roll.
an MP, you're just trying to bring people together.
Yeah, of course. See,
Okay.
that's it. That's exactly what it. You're good. You know what? You should actually sell disco too. Probably not though.
Yeah. Well, you never know. I mean.
But it's funny to hear all people say, "I can't believe you freely admit that you like disco."
Oh, it's better than to keep it a secret, right?
Well, that's true.
I mean, then it would just feel really wrong.
Eventually, it will come out because when the music's in the background, I get shifty and kind of like, oh, I really want to dance.
Well, your constituents seem to love you. We appreciate
that
let us
that
check
varies
that
on
out.
occasion. I mean, it's politics after
Every
all.
once in a while, not so much. But
Yeah.
Well, they put on a good show today, and we've really appreciated you letting us come and be in the riding, be in your house.
Well, I'm honored that you would be here, quite frankly, and I don't get a lot of people coming to my riding, the whole nation especially. But it's a beautiful little spot. Don't forget, we have rivers as well as we have the ocean, as you've seen.
Yeah.
And we have a way of accepting people like we've known you for years. So please come. It's a wonderful trip.
Thank you
for
so much,
being here.
Scott. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Catherine.